Hi, welcome to Behind the Badge. I'm Chief Alan Rodbell of the Scottsdale Police Department. With me is Miss Chris Fasal, our community liaison.
Hi, everybody.
Hi, summer is here. The heat is here. Although I don't know, it did get too cold this whole
No,
winter.
I think we've been really great this spring. I really can't complain too much. I thought it's not that really bad for June.
No, not at all.
I mean, because it could be already 110.
Yeah. So you got plans for the summer?
No.
No, me either. This way I used to vacation, so we're
going to be here.
This is my vacation, just
That's
living
right.
here.
We're
so.
going to be here with our audience and making sure that they're informed.
There you go. So there's nothing really going on during the summer with us, other than we always do the warnings about kids around pools and children out there in traffic as school is over.
Yes.
And so we make sure the parents are very, very careful and the drivers are careful. And
Exactly.
teenage
And you have
drivers,
bicycles on the road now and kids playing out in the street with balls, and you know, just always be prepared. Make sure you follow all the speed limits in the neighborhoods, because remember, some are posted, otherwise it's 25.
Right.
Make sure that you just be careful of kids.
Yeah.
They don't pay attention to cars now. They're out of school. They're excited.
Yeah. But, the people are not driving as much, so in terms of like traffic, we'll have less traffic, it'll be a little smoother here, and people will be anxious to get out of town, I'm sure, and get away from the heat, but those of us that stay...
It is a lot easier to get on the 101 now. Gets to work a lot quicker. I got to watch my speed.
Maybe speed limit.
Yeah, I got to watch my speed. It's like there's not enough traffic to keep me in check, but that's just a cue for all of you to watch your speed as well.
Very good. Anyway, so we have a very interesting program today, because one, we're going to introduce a new member of the executive, I guess the chief's level executive.
It's going to be in my chain.
Yes. And this particular person was a commander here in the city for a number of years, and district commander here locally in the downtown area. So we want to introduce.
He's an old hat.
Yeah.
He just got another less. This is a less.
One more star.
One more star.
Looks like
he got
a third
one
world
more
general.
star.
Yeah.
So see that? That's pretty cool.
So let's introduce Rich Slavin. Rich, welcome to the show. Very, very excited for it and proud. And I know that promotion actually starts this coming Sunday. So by the time the program's out there, you will have that third star.
Yes, sir.
But it's a pleasure having you here. And I thought, we had the retirement of Chief Walther, who had spent 24 years here in the city, and just retired as a result, opening up an opportunity for you.
Yes, sir.
And I thought maybe it'd be nice for the viewers to get to know one of their current district commanders, soon to be one of the assistant chiefs.
Well, thank you. It's just a real honor and a privilege to receive this promotion, to serve the city at that level. I'm very excited and motivated to get started as an assistant chief of the Investigative Services Bureau. I've been with the city of Scottsdale for almost 19 years. Began, as we all do, as a patrol officer back in 1999. Within a couple of years, I became an operator on the tactical team, and then I spent a large portion of my career in Special Investigations section, where I was part of a unit called Special Assignments Unit, full-time unit responsible for tactical response and high violence potential suspect arrest and surveillance and things like that, an undercover assignment. So I was a detective and a sergeant back there for many years. I had 14 years continuous service on our tactical team as an operator, a team leader, and a team commander. And upon leaving Special Investigations, I was promoted to lieutenant, where I was in the bustling and a very active downtown district, working in the area of the entertainment sector, as well as many of at the time we were building up in that district, and many high-rise residences and things like that. So I got to be a part of all that in that new endeavor for the city. And then promoted to commander, and I've been the McKellips district commander now since 2015, the southernmost district.
And McKellips, basically the borders from McKellips?
So the city limits south, which is the McKellips Road, to Osborne is the south to north, and then we take the city limits east and west.
And you've been a commander for how long now, I'm sorry?
Over 3 years.
Over 3 years.
Yeah.
So what changes have you seen in that area the last 3 years?
Well, gosh, a lot more new construction. We're adding more and more residents, especially on the McDowell corridor. Just a lot of activity in the district of renewal and revival of areas. Reuse of properties that maybe have sort of gone down over the years. A lot of excitement down there. It's a neat district to be a police officer, because we have residents that have been there for more than 60 years on the one hand, and then we have new 20-something-year-old residents that are moving into some of the newer condo complexes and homes that are being renovated and made new again. So it's a really exciting district to be a part of.
And your new assignment is Investigative Services Bureau, the detectives, as people come to know that. And so what challenges do you see ahead of you?
Well, gosh, we have a whole new way that crimes are being committed now in the use of cyberspace and things like that. So looking at the specialties that are needed for the Bureau in the way of computer forensics examiners and forensic accountants and things like that. It's just a whole new wave of criminal activity that we need to be at the very cutting edge, like we always are, on getting victims the justice that they deserve, and finding the ways that crimes are being committed, being able to operate in those environments.
And you'll have the crime lab as well as part of your responsibility.
Yes, sir.
Yeah. Which we're finding more and more ways to, I guess, utilize technology to make it easier for us to bring people to identify suspects and bring people to justice, and at the same time provide closure for our community.
Yes, sir. I mean, our lab is definitely one of those cutting-edge groups. They are always on the latest technology and use of forensic science to solve crimes. And so, much like the spirit of the rest of our police department, they're always leading the way in new endeavors, new ways of doing things, and so very excited to be a part of that work group also.
And as like with the police department, who is an accredited agency, the lab actually has an additional accreditation as well. So they are very high level, excellent scientists, forensic scientists. We have and doesn't a lot of agencies around the city and the state also come here to help us to help them solve some of their crimes as well?
Yes, that's right. So we do have contracts with other police departments that utilize our lab for their forensic services, and our lab works closely with the other labs in the valley here as well, and they are accredited and very well respected in the state and in the nation.
Right.
So we're going to talk about one of the issues that you face as a district commander and some of what the city is doing to deal with this issue, but what were some of the issues as a district commander that you dealt with that was sort of unique to the area of the city that you were responsible for?
So, my district being the southernmost district, some of the oldest neighborhoods, probably home to some of the more folks with more socioeconomic issues and things like that. And we started to see some increase in folks that are experiencing homelessness, some evidence of that somewhat being on the rise. And so, our community definitely let us know what they were seeing, things my officers and civilian employees were seeing also. And so we decided to start looking at that more in depth as a city, not just as a police department, but really bringing the whole city together to see, number one, what is the size and scope as we see it, and then what are some potential response protocols.
And you brought somebody along who's a partner in this endeavor in dealing with this issue. So would you mind introducing our guest?
Not at all. So it's a pleasure for me to introduce Kira Peters. Kira has been with the city for more than 27 years. She's spent a great deal of her career in parks and recreation, community services, aquatics, and things like that. But most recently, they've asked her to step up to be the interim director of our libraries. And so she definitely has a lot more on her plate today than she's probably accustomed to, but very busy. And she's been just a tremendous partner for us in the police department as we've put together a homelessness response initiative task force, if you will, for the city.
Well, thank you very much.
Welcome, Kara. Welcome to the program. Perhaps maybe there's not a lot of blanks here, I don't think, but perhaps fill us in a little bit on your background and how you got in the position you're currently in, and we'll talk about the program that you're helping us with.
Perfect.
Well.
No, and thank you, and congratulations to you too. Before I jump in, but yes, I've worked for the city for 27 years, so similar passion for serving the community and the residents here in Scottsdale, and I've been really appreciative of. Now, I don't know if I should call you Chief Slavin, Commander Slavin, what's appropriate? Yeah. Rich, okay. Yeah. I've been really appreciative of Rich reaching out, and I really think you really kind of orchestrated getting a cross-departmental team of city employees, so not just community services, parks and recreation, human services, the libraries, but really transportation, citizen services, really a nice big group of city employees to kind of tackle this challenge of homelessness, which is it's a sensitive topic. It's complicated, it's not easy. I think we're all finding that out. But really my experience, I think, has really brought forward the fact that I've worked in the parks. I work with the parks professionals. I've worked at senior centers, so we've seen, people that need resources and help coming to senior centers for social services. So I've experienced that. Work a lot with frontline staff, part-time staff that work for the city of Scottsdale, who really are the ones opening the parks or the community centers first things in the morning. So really I feel like I just kind of bring a nice wide perspective to some of the challenges faced, some of the challenges in our community, and of course all the great things in our community as well. So it's
like every other community is facing currently.
Exactly.
No matter where it is across the country.
Most definitely, most definitely. So this has really been nice, I think, to hear members of the team really come together, and I think what Rich has really hit home with all of us is it's not just a police issue, it is really a community issue. So all of us working together to serve the community, help people in need, to move forward and do the best that we can. So thank you for letting me be on the show and be a part of this conversation.
Absolutely. Well, we get letters and we get emails from folks saying that it seems like there's an overabundance or certainly more homelessness on the street, or people asking for cash or other things on the street corners, more so than the past. And I don't know if it's an issue of perception, or we're more sensitive to it, or there really is an increase. I know that we do a homeless count every year in participation with everyone in the county doing their jurisdictions. I don't believe our numbers were necessarily up this year, but then there's all kinds of things in terms of how people report or whether they make themselves available to report. So I don't know how accurate that is. And so maybe you could just tell us a little bit about that, so we have a feel for how real the problem is for our viewers.
Okay.
Yeah, so we do a point-in-time count every year, everywhere across the country. It's a national initiative. And although this year our point-in-time count was up just a little bit, normally we were around 58 to 60 documented folks that are experiencing homelessness. This year we were at about 72, 74. Just a small increase there. I think really, Chief, what you hit on with regard to perception is a key element here. We have seen a real increase in panhandling, and I think it's important to create the distinction, because not all panhandlers
are homeless,
are experiencing homelessness.
Exactly.
In fact, many of them are not. It's an endeavor. It's an entrepreneurial
it's a job.
endeavor.
Yeah.
And so that was one of the things we kind of took right off the bat, was let's really define those that are experiencing homelessness from those that are really not in need of city resources. They're just simply utilizing an opportunity to ask for money. And so we started there, defining what the issue might be. And then from there we wanted to see what the size and scope of the issue was here in the city. And then we decided to analyze the resources that we already provide. And Karen, maybe you can talk about
Sure.
we definitely, the city already provides a great many resources and referrals to folks that are in need.
That's correct. And I think really what this cross-departmental team has done is we really recognize the need for education. Education for the public, for the community, for city staff internally, as well as people maybe experiencing homelessness or in need of resources. So really the part that I've been involved with, and the part that I feel most comfortable with this initiative, is the education. So that's what we're working on right now. Rich and I have been working on, with the help of a lot of other city staff, is developing an education piece that we can launch out that will be able to be used by everybody. And that education piece will hold statistics and numbers and some explanations, some definitions of what panhandling is, maybe compared to what someone really experiencing homelessness is. What are resources out there if you were a person experiencing homelessness? What are the resources available, and how does the city of Scottsdale touch homelessness? So those are going to be all components of the first part of this education is going to be a web page. We all know things are online, things are digital. That's where things are going these days. So really what we want to do is, if you go to the city of Scottsdale's website and you type in the word homelessness or panhandling, any of those words, this page will come up that will have a great amount of resources for a wide variety of people. I think the purpose is twofold. Number one, consistency. So I work in community services where we might have staff at one end of the park thinking they understand perhaps the law. They're not police officers, but they might think they understand that, and they might be giving information one way, whereas another work group might be giving information another way. Good intent, but not really consistent. So the hope of this webpage really for city staff will be, this is going to be a resource for you when you're training, say part-time community service staff, full-time, whoever it may be. And I know law enforcement, you guys are up on the laws, you know all that, but sometimes the rest of the organization is not privy to that. That's not what we're trained in. So this website will be a nice training tool for city staff. It'll be a nice resource for the public, and really to educate so people can kind of understand the scope of this challenge and really what is the city doing. Again, I said, how is Scottsdale touching this issue and helping? Because the city does provide resources to other organizations that help people in need. So that very much happens, and we'll explain all that through the website. And I don't know if you want to touch a little bit on the Scottsdale EZ part of it.
So the city has an app. There's an app for that, Scottsdale EZ. It's already up and running, and you can report lots of things to the city through it. If you need a new trash can, if there's a pothole or a street light that's out, you can just quickly, with a few clicks on your phone, report that to the city, and then it gets routed to the necessary servicemen that will go fix those things. And so along that lines, we're going to have this initiative on Scottsdale EZ as well. So if you're worried about someone staying on a corner, you think they need some help, or you see signs of an encampment or something like that, you can report it there. From there, we're building a navigation team made up of folks from Human Services, Citizen Services, Parks and Rec, or Diversity and Inclusion, and of course police and fire on there as well. And we'll receive those tips, and then based on what the tip is, then you get the right response coming from the right part of the city. So we're looking to be more efficient in how we deliver services also.
Very good.
I was just going to ask, off the top of the head, Chief, do you know if what the city ordinances are, or just to kind of maybe throw out to some of our viewers, what would be illegal, what would be something that they should probably pick up the phone and call and not necessarily go to the app, because that might not be an immediate response,
Sure.
and just kind of maybe tell the difference between those two, calling and texting.
I think one of the biggest misconceptions about what might be illegal is the panhandling. That's protected under the First Amendment. A person, as long as they're standing in a public area, not on private property, simply standing there holding a sign is not violating the law in any way. Now, if that person is doing something disruptive, they're stepping into traffic, they're yelling or screaming, becoming frightening in a way, then those definitely are matters for the police, and we could and will respond to that. But what should you report? Well, certainly if you see someone that looks like they're in medical distress, they need help. I mean, certainly we want to respond to those things and see if they're doing okay, especially now as we're getting into the summer here, and heat is a real issue. If someone is, littering, if they're doing other things that might be disruptive at bus stops and things like that, those would be police matters. It is illegal to camp, or there's urban camping laws that apply here in the city, so we would want to know about those kinds of things. Okay. More importantly, I think folks that are most affected emotionally because we have a city of so many giving citizens, they feel like they want to help, and I think that's really what we want to talk about is, there are so many ways to help other than just simply, handing someone a dollar bill out of a window. On the website, we're going to show where that dollar, how it will be used, where it would go if you were to donate it to St. Vincent de Paul or a number of other agencies out there that provide services to the homeless. They are so in need of time and money and resources so that they can continue to help those that are in need. And so that's another thing we're going to provide on the website are places that you could spend your time or money if you truly want to help the situation.
And I think really if I could expand on that a little bit, I really learned a lot being part of this team, because you get to work with people, the people that work in transportation, so they know about the trolleys. And really when we were talking to the staff in Human Services, it was amazing to me, Rich, that, if you give $1 to St. Vincent de Paul, like they can stretch that dollar so far. You know, I can't remember the exact statistics, but you know, $5, here's how far it'll go if you donate to this organization's versus $5 handing it right to a person on the street. So I really think if we can educate the public on how beneficial, you know, if we came together as a community and started donating to those causes, it really could make a difference in the community and get help to the people that need it. That's one of my biggest takeaways, I guess, from this team, is I've learned so much from the members of this team, and even just hearing the stories, you know, the different stories. You know, I think we're talking a lot, you do see the people out holding the signs, and what's the
and a lot of people are so confused, because I know they're like, is that illegal? Why are they standing there? I mean, and it's like seriously a job for some people, because it is the same people on the same corners and the same spots all the time. And matter of fact, I think I saw not too long ago somebody fighting about somebody that wanted to come to a place where somebody's been, and they were like kind of having a little bit of an argument about whose corner it was. So I think it's important that the viewers know that, as the chief said, that's not illegal at this point. So maybe through this committee and some of this education, we can do some other things, get rid of some of that.
And they're not necessarily homeless and in need of services.
Correct.
So we have to make sure that we can separate that, although the perception is it is the same situation, and not necessarily. And sometimes the signs allude to that situation. So we encourage people not necessarily put the money out the window to the person on the street, but to donate it to a cause or a program that works within their value system, and donate that way. So I'd heard at a seminar I went to one time recently that there's a new group of homelessness out there that are the young kids, young adults who find themselves on the streets, and sometimes if they've got their education, sometimes they're working, sometimes they have 2 jobs, they just don't have a place at night. And I don't know if we're seeing that, experiencing that here in town or not. Do you have any idea if we're seeing that here as well?
You know, I know in the park system, I haven't, that's not been reported to me. I don't know if you've seen more of that.
No, we're not encountering a whole lot of youth that have the ability to make money that are just choosing not to. We have encountered youth that are on the street, and you know, there are so many available resources for youth in that situation. We're almost immediately getting them into services. I think that's the thing.
Can I just say one thing, Chief? While you're on that one subject, if there's somebody here that knows of somebody, who would that youth call, or who should they contact to get help?
They can always start by calling the police. I mean, it's a quick and easy way to get city services to you right away, and we're going to come and assess and get you to resources. And they shouldn't be afraid. Not at all. We have this awesome group of people in the police department, Police Crisis Intervention Services. They've been with the city and the police department for more than 40 years. And they are so connected to all the resources that are available in so many ways that we would immediately be calling them out, and they would connect the youth with resources immediately.
And they've been on our program a number of times discussing their availability and how we are they and they are us, and they're part of our department, but they're just phenomenal people. And that partnership works out just wonderfully. So, in giving some thought to what we want to tell our community, one is eventually the website will be up and running.
Yes.
Our intention is to advertise that and put that information out. They already have services they can access through contacting the police. Homelessness is not illegal, and certainly panhandling is not a crime, so it makes it very difficult for us to be involved, but we may be able to separate those that need services from those that are just simply there as business men and women. Is there anything else we can tell citizens in terms of things that they can be alerted to, astute of, or act on? Some other information we can give them.
Do you mind if I talk a little bit about this one?
Sure.
I think really what this website we're hoping to do too is if there are homeowners associations, or if they want some education to come out to their neighborhood or to their community, whether it's even just on their street, that I think really that this navigation team would be happy to do that as well, just to kind of further a little bit about what we're talking about in case people miss this show, you know, that they can go to the website and know that really a person on this navigation team could come out and provide some education, kind of some one-on-one, if you will, one-on-one with that specific neighborhood if need be, because sometimes I think people are a little bit more comfortable talking face-to-face as well. So that's what I'm hoping a little bit of this website will actually generate some of that, so it's not just people just going to the website, but maybe some city resources can come out to the neighborhoods, and then that way you're empowering your community to say, oh, hey, I heard you talking about your concern, perhaps you saw somebody in a park, did you know, check out the city's website, because you were just talking about police crisis intervention, and Tracy, who's been on our team, the resources are amazing, and some of those she's given to us to put on this website. So I think that'll be a pretty powerful piece of this tool, is really empowering our community to help us all, manage this and help people in need.
Information is definitely power. And we didn't really touch on any mental health issues, which is a whole nother component to this whole homeless issue, nor maybe our veterans and people that really need assistance. But I'm sure that website is also going to tackle that. And Chief, we just talked to somebody not too long ago, remember, that came into our department and talked about they are veterans and they're out to help. So those resources will be there as well. So thank you so much for being here today and being our guests and giving out that great information. We are so lucky to have such great partnerships.
We are. Thank you. Thank you so much. Congratulations, both of you. Your new position and your new position as well.
You.
You're both going to continue in this regardless?
Yes.
Oh, good. Okay. So I got a commitment. It's on tape.
Yeah.
All right.
Recorded.
Thank you so much.
Very
Thanks
welcome.
for being our guest. And thanks for all you're doing to help us with our community issues.
You're welcome.
Thank you.
And that, I guess, ends another one of our programs. And so between now and next time we see you, have a great, safe summer. And we look forward to being back here again next month. Thank you for joining us. Bye-bye.
Bye.